Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and let me take this screen down here. Oh, it's a different mouse. That's the thing. I just got all this reflective stuff going on from my computer screen. So see if that's, oh, yay. Now we got the blue screen. Let's just turn that one off then. That's just even better. I hope everybody is having a great night. It's a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit. Hello, Owen. Hello, Andrew. Oh my goodness. We are halfway through December already. This month is going, in fact, past couple of months have just gone so fast. I just feel like I'm chasing my tail. I got home from day off tonight and I just kind of reflected on my weekend. And if I were to grade myself and grade the weekend at how it was, I'd say, well, I would have to be honest and say it's an 8. But when my manager comes into work tomorrow, she'll look at the place and go, she'll think that's a 10. She won't give me that credit. She's not that type of lady. But you can't deny something that just looks amazing, right? And in my head, I'm just kind of going through things to make sure in my mind that I had everything unplugged when I left the store. I hope everybody is having a great night. Hello, Hannah. How's everybody's week been going? Here, the government this week is trying to put the squeeze on Canada Post. They're going to put Canada Post back to work immediately. They say it's just too much hardship for the public. But you know what? Canada Post, right? That's all paid for through the taxes that we pay as citizens. And, as much as I would like to see everybody get fair contracts and everything, I really have a problem when organizations or people pull the fast ones, or right, like the Canada Post holding the public hostage at Christmas. You guys, right? They held us ransom at Christmas, and it's too late. I say leave them off. Let them have a few more weeks holidays, right? See how hard it is to get back on your feet from being off work for a couple of months, right? I don't like the underhandedness of things. I believe in a cause. I think you have the right to fight for your cause, but I don't believe you should use anybody as a hostage or anybody as an excuse, or right. I'm just not that type of person. And if anything will get my blood boiling a little bit, it is that unfairness, that unkindness, right? And I thought that was a pretty unkind thing that Canada Post does. So I don't really have any sympathy for them, except to say it's Christmas. Give them a few more weeks off, right? Don't put them back to work. It's not like the parcels are going to get there before Christmas anyway, right? And if they do, it's all going to be going express. And you know how much that's going to hurt the public, right? Because we love our family. We love our friends. We've got those parcels all packed, labeled, ready to go. If there was any way that we could get those shipped off, we would, right? But this whole thing has just put a little bit of a sour taste in everybody's mouth, I think, and everybody's doing bad government. Even though Canada Post it's not part of the government, though. It's just paid for by, right? So Canada Post still has to answer, right? This is the way I put it. I don't know why I'm talking about Canada Post, right? Because I don't pay too much attention to the news, but when I myself have a few packages that need to be sent off, right? I can feel the experience. What if those were my kids or my grandkids, right? And or special charitable organizations, because Christmas time, I know everything is the digital age, but people in my age bracket are not normally hanging out online, right? So they do everything by check and right. So if it went through Canada Post, it would be held up. So I would think that some charitable organizations will suffer. It's a big thing. I remember, donating to Heart and Stroke Foundation and just sending them a check. Mind you, that was a long time ago. But I remember how I felt to put it in a card, right? In memoriam for my father or whatever it was and sending it off, right? So I know it means something not just to the charitable organizations, but to the people who want to, right, send those charitable donations in a traditional kind of manner, right? Right? Lots of these. My whole family going down. My sister's got the same disease as my father. So when I'm dishing out that money, right? I'm going to be a philanthropist. Maybe I'll build a hospital specifically for hearts and right arteries and stuff. I'm not an expert, but if I was a millionaire, right, you could divvy out the money and hire the experts. Right? That's the way it's done. Then everybody has a job, right? Except the Canada Post workers. Right? Maybe we could swing a deal that UPS would be just as cost effective as Canada Post. Do we really need Canada Post? Can we do without it and use other sources, right? Maybe there's like prime shipping, right? Through Amazon or something. They got all these warehouses and pickup places, right? They could get into business. There's a thought for you. If you want to not increase the shares in your company, right? Take over. We privatize car insurance here in Manitoba. So, uh, no, sorry, we are government. Uh, we're not privatized car insurance, but lots of provinces are privatized, where you can go and shop around. I know in the states you get to shop around to find your best deals in car insurance. Here in Manitoba, though, the government, again, auto pack, it's all covered under the government, right? So I have no idea why I'm talking about this stuff. I'm not even experts in that. I just feel the pinch for people. I guess that's what it is. I feel the pinch. Winter always brings me into that state of conserving, right? Everything is in conservation. Except the money I spend. Hello, Kathy. Hello. Uh Andrew says, this past week at the little free library down the street from me, I found an old fountain pen someone had donated. Seems to be from the 1950s or the 1960s. Oh, that's pretty awesome, right? And I know you like your pens, and I guess would they thaw out fine if they froze overnight? The pens froze overnight. Would the ink be okay when it thawed out? Curious to know. Hello, Kathy. I hope everybody is having an amazing week. I feel so good physically that right it makes it so that I want to put a little bit extra energy in getting things done, whether it's in my apartment or at work. Wish it could be. I need to start my New Year's 10-year anniversary New Year's Eve um, uh, video. I'm going to do a premiere that night to celebrate my 10-year anniversary, but I haven't even started it. And I only have 2 weeks to get that done. And I've got some entertaining. Well, I'm not going to entertain here. I'm going to go off. Right. I committed to go for dinner and right Christmas party. I just right. So it's important to be social that way. And so I make that time, even though I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I got so much stuff to do. It all works out in the end. I'm just going to hack away at it, do it slowly, do it monotonously, right? I'm going to make that time for myself to sit at the desk, and I can do that in between doing other stuffs, right? It's that ADHD that makes that possible for me to accomplish, because what I do is I jump up from one task and I just go into another task. I don't just say, okay, that's it. Let's go watch metal detecting videos. Though I do watch metal detecting videos, but I only watch there's only a couple of channels that I watch for metal detecting. I do have my entertainment, but a lot of the entertainment is knowledge based, because of my love for history. I really love going back. I really find Neanderthals to be very interesting. I'm very interested because they're going to get close, man. Wow, they're finding new species of humans right and left. Right and left. They thought there were 15. There was so many more. They found two more, I think, this year. I think they were both found in China, and they're doing testing and stuff. They really haven't released anything, except they're pretty sure that they found a couple of more species of human beings, right? And it makes you think, because a lot of them coexisted with each other, right? Like the Homo sapiens, they coexisted with the Neanderthal. I think they crossed over for like 40,000 years or something, that they crossed and lived. Maybe not, what do you call that? Heaven on earth kind of style. Maybe they were mortal enemies. The Neanderthals did go technically extinct, even though we all have a small percentage, but we have a percentage of Neanderthal in us, right? I could talk about this stuff all day long. It's so interesting. But there is some great discoveries, you guys, that are coming up in archaeology and science and medicine, and they're all working together, right? We should all be working together. That's where all the answers are going to, right? It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to debate. It's not okay to fight. We compete. We do that good sportsmanship, and that's perfectly fine, and that's perfectly healthy, right? Because that keeps people understanding their place in the pack, right? Okay. Oh, Dave's here. Okay, good question, Cindy. Ballpoint pens can freeze and thaw. Not sure if a fountain pen cartridge might burst. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's interesting to know, Andrew. Um, Hello, Cindy. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Owen. Hello, Hannah. Hello, Kathy. Hope everyone is doing good. Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good too. How close was I in my trip, Dave, to getting close to the whereabouts you're from? Did I get fairly close in any manner? Because I think I covered Ontario pretty good. I didn't go down to the southern part too far. I didn't get too much underneath Algonquin. But yeah, I got to some big cities there. I could have crossed the bridge, you guys. This is all I needed to do. Cross the bridge, and I could have gone to Quebec for breakfast. That's how close I was. But I decided not to, because I was determined to get to my campground before dark. I think I only made it to my campground maybe three times, maybe four, but probably three times that I made it before dark, right? And I'm counting the sunsets too. Okay, yeah, I didn't get down. I got as far down as Petersboro and Sudbury. That was the big cities that way. Yeah, and then I didn't go much further south than that. Hey, Austin, how you doing? We were just yapping about, well, I leave a little bit of trail, but I also understand and I get to know where people live here, right? And as we get to know each other, I think, well, when I'm going on these trips, am I going to pass by so and so or so and so and so and so, right? Because if I was to go to Vancouver, right, it would only take me 2 hours to get to Seattle, and I could go see Nancy for the afternoon, and I could say, Nancy, do you want to go out for lunch? Because then on the way back, I can go through Utah and Montana, and I can dig for crystals on the way home. There's always stuff to do on those trips. It's just a matter of planning the trips and coming up, right? Coming up. But that's the fun stuff of doing it, right? But when I'm on these trips, I wonder how close am I getting? How close am I getting to some of my favorite people in the whole world? Oh, thanks, Austin. I appreciate that. I thought you said I'm not doing good, Austin. I said, what, Austin? What's going on? No, it says I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay, perfect. Because I have a crew here when they're not well, when they're not feeling well. They show up anyway, and they know I don't like it because when you're sick, you're supposed to be resting. You're supposed to be taking that break. You're supposed to leaving that stress and right, taking extra naps and stuff. But these guys here, they're so stubborn. They pop in whether they're feeling good or not feeling good. And I would like to think, right, if you're really, really, really not feeling good, right? That things aren't going well, that you guys would say something so that we can kind of envelop you and let you guys know how much you are appreciated. Because definitely, right? You guys can see all those wrenches there, right? And those are people that truly care for me, and they've been with me for years, you guys. And like I said, I got to know them. I know where they live. I send them Christmas cards, right? So I know where they live. But if I should ever be in the neighborhood on one of my excursions, I'm getting close, you guys. Like I said, December is going so fast, like so fast. I can't believe how fast this is. And I keep saying I've got so much to do, and I'm stumbling over myself trying to get stuff done. Things are getting done, like some things that I'm quite pleased with. I finally got the duvet for my ratty old quilt that I can't give up because I'm like Linus from Charlie Brown with this quilt. And but I got it bagged. I'm calling it bagged. I bought a duvet cover for it, and it was the only one that was in a queen size, and it was kind of a dingy gray color. And I went, oh, but it was the only one, and I don't think my quilt's going to make it another 2 weeks for the possibility of another duvet coming in. I'm going to buy it, I said, and I bought it. It was only $7 with a little bit of a staff discount. It only cost me $7. I know duvets are over $100 for sure, but I got my quilt bagged, and then I was kind of cleaning behind my chair, and I was looking at some of my artwork because I've been collecting artwork for my new apartment where I'm actually going to have a bedroom and not just a little cove here where my bed is, that I'll actually have a nice little bedroom. So I've been collecting art for that bedroom. Some lovely, oh, lovely art, just beautiful. And you guys know I don't buy something unless I just love it, right? And I was looking at the picture, and the duvet cover is the primary color of the main picture that I want to put over my bed. And I didn't even know that. I didn't even write. It just fluked out that it worked out so perfectly. Like I could not have asked for a better duvet cover. And I almost didn't buy it because I thought the color was dingy, but the color is a gray. It's a very light cloudy gray, right? And that's the primary color. It's the main color, and then I have the bright canary yellow in the pictures too. And I have the pillows. I bought the pillows already, which are gray with yellow pinstripes and gray with yellow polka dots on them. So cute. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to move into a apartment. But I've got some stuff to do, right? Next month it's teeth, you guys. Hold me to it. Call me on it, you guys. Don't let me go, right? I said January we are doing the teeth. Right? We're going to dish out the money, so I'm trying to save for that, but not really. What I'm doing is working my budget, and I'm paying forward on my bills. Like I'm paying all my bills, even next month's house bills, this payday, and we're just going to get it all cleared off so that next month I don't have to worry about the house bills and stuff. And that money I would put to the house bills, I can attach it all to the funds that I'm going to need, a paycheck. And the government, I think, is dishing out a few incentives in January. This environmental incentive, and there's something for, because they had to hike the cost of groceries so high. I don't know what your grocery bill looks like in the States right now, but here in Canada, crazy. Oh my goodness. You used to be able to get a big tub. Oh, Kathy can attest to this. And so can, well, maybe not Dave because he's a guy and I'm not sure if he does the grocery shopping at home. Maybe he does. Let me know, Dave, if you do the grocery shopping at home. But you used to be able to get big tubs of margarine, imperial margarine or parquet margarine, for sometimes on sale for $2.99. Great big ones too. Now they're $9.99. The next time they hike the price, they're going to be over $10, right? That's all I could talk about because for myself, I use a lot of margarines, right? So that's a product that I would recognize that the price is a little bit nutso on. It's just way too nutso. But all the groceries, the prices have gone up, right? And those good sales that you used to be able to get, they're just not there anymore in the meats, right? So the government helps out a little bit for people who struggle a little bit in being able to keep a healthy diet because of the cost of living, right? Oh, William's here too. Hello, William. Just gonna come down here. Yeah, so I don't know about you guys in the States, if the government has been supplementing the grocery market to make it so the groceries, you guys don't notice the prices, but here everything has doubled. I'm not even joking. Everything is pretty much doubled in cost in the grocery store. Actually, that's not true. The price of bananas have not changed. Price of bananas have not changed. And also, I don't think the price of eggs have not changed either. But I would have to say pretty much everything else. Don't even go into the bakery. Oh my goodness. Going into the bakery is super scary when you look at the cost of things. Right? But that's okay because when the cost of living is so high, I'm not saying we don't deserve to have the treats and the goodies and stuff because it, right? Our emotional well being is just as important as our physical well being, but we are in a time of buckle down. So I, for myself, have been catching meat when it goes on sale. So I've got a freezer full of meat. I've got a 20-pound bag of rice. I always try to keep an extra container of coffee because, right, I don't know when it's going to happen, but something has got to give, right? And it's going to be a struggle, I think, for everybody. Yeah. I'm going to go into market. I'm going to buy coffee off of people. And I'm going to open up a coffee shop because I think people are so hooked on coffee right now because it does. And especially in the wintertime, it gives you a sense of hominess and comfort that I think somebody would be able to do very, very well in a coffee shop, right? It might be dingy and underground. It might be used coffee grounds, right? I don't know what, but I do believe that coffee will do well. And you could bargain through other goods, right? I'll give you a bag of flour for 12 tins of coffee. You gotta, right? Bag of flour goes a long way, but a lot of people can live without coffee. But then again, right? Coffee for some people is just something to comfort. And if we're in that time where everybody is struggling with the cost of living and even getting good coffee and stuff, that they're ready to settle just for grandma's dirty coffee grounds, right? Things are going to be tough, and anything to make you feel a little bit better about the situation that you're in, right? That's a good thing. That really, really is a good thing. That's whistle while you work. That is the best of times. That was the worst of times. It's this can't last forever, right? It's got to stop sometime. Look on the bright side of things, right? So it's a lot of pep talk is what it is. And a lot of times it is in those placebos, right? Those placebos that we give to ourselves, right? When we know that something isn't going to work well, but for the goodness of the situation or the calmness of the situation, or right, not to make people scared or worried, that sometimes we kind of white lie through things to make things seem not as bad as what they could be, should be, or will be, right? Yeah. Um, Andrew says, I save some money buying store brand items rather than name brand items and find the store brand items to be just as good. We have Superstore. I don't know if they have Superstore in the States, but they have yellow brand, no name brand. And I like their tuna. I think the yellow brand tuna is the very best tuna on the market. The flake tuna, the chunky tuna, I don't care. That yellow no name brand tuna that they have at Superstore is pretty darn good. Sobeys has a brand in Safeway because they're jointly held, right? Compliments brand. There is some brands that I do appreciate, like the diet peanut butter. Compliments diet peanut butter, I think, is the very best peanut butter pretty much on the market, because they to make up for the fats and the sugars that they take out of the peanut butter, they extra roast the peanut butter, so there's really awesome flavor to their peanut butter. I don't mind the no name brands. I truly don't. What I do mind is a, a bad product representing themselves and charging equivalent to a high end product. I got kind of sucked into that with some cheese, some smoked Gouda. I said, smoked Gouda, that sounds good. And I bought a bag of this smoked Gouda, and it was expensive. I couldn't afford it, but it's right. Smoked Gouda. It sounded, oh, I'm gonna have a smoked Gouda grilled cheese sandwich. That sounds so good. And I got home and it was just the worst stuff ever. And I went, I've got to throw this away. I can't use it. I can't use it for anything. And I've opened up the package. I'm not going to get my money back. Nobody's going to want, and I threw it all away, right? I guess I could have sprinkled it onto the snow, but it was so bad. Even the animals wouldn't have wanted it. It was pretty bad. Okay. Just gonna come back here just a ways. Um, Dave says, I do. I worked at Loblaws in 74 part time for 4 years, 32 hours a week. Even was in a commercial. Oh, really? With Bill Shatner, who was hammered, and it took him 5. We were talking about this, Dave. Right? Isn't that a coincidence that we're talking about this twice this week, even? Because I think you were talking about it last week. You were talking about William Shatner and how pounded he was and how long it took him to get the commercials done. I didn't know it was at Loblaws, which is, I think, like you said, Sobeys, right? Loblaws and Sobeys, the same thing. I don't know. Andrew says, "Yikes, Dave! That must have been an awful experience." I probably would have enjoyed it. I probably would have stood there and laughed. Dave says, "Andrew, especially as I was lifting watermelons out of a crate and onto the shelf in the background and had to do it over and over." Oh, so you weren't a willing participant in the commercial. They just told you go do this and you had to do it. Um my brother-in-law Ian, he's an extra. Winnipeg is really big for in the film industry market because we have a lot of sites that are cohesive to making movies. We actually even have a 15 square block of old limestone um, skyscrapers, Chicago style, and they are protected by Heritage Winnipeg. And so it's a great place to make movies that are meant to be in days of past. So yeah, my brother-in-law, he gets bit parts all the time. And it's amazing that he found that hobby. It's really actually quite amazing that he did it because to me, my brother-in-law Ian seems like a little bit of an introvert too, right? So but I think, like me, he's an introverted extrovert, meaning he loves people, right? Me and him, we used to party all the time. We used to go. I've known my brother in law, Ian. Oh my goodness, we are going back to the late 80s, I would think. Oh, yeah, for sure, mid 80s. So I've known him a long, long time 40 years, over 40 years. And yeah, he's an introverted extrovert. He likes to spend time on his own by himself, but he also loves people. And we both used to like to party. He liked to drink. He doesn't drink anymore, but at the time he liked to drink. Drinking was never my thing, and I worked in bars and nightclubs for like 15 years, and it was never my thing, right? But I did enjoy the conversations because everybody was so loose and honest, and not honest, but like honest, like themselves. They were themselves, with a few drinks behind them. It was also entertaining at times, right? The barroom brawls and that you get to know who the big mouths were. My ex-husband, he was one of those big mouths, right? He liked to whoop it out, but he only knew because he was in the military, and they fight in packs, right? So if you take a swing at one guy, you're taking a swing at the entire army because they partied there almost every single night. They had all the different groups. The bikers had one corner of the bar, the army guys had one other part of the bar, the darts and the golf guys, they had one other corner of the bar, and then the arm wrestlers and the DJ groupies and the rippers and their managers used to have the corner by the back door because it was like easy escape, I guess. I don't know. It was a fun job, interesting job. Like, I learned so much about people in that job, and that's the truth. I loved it. I really loved it. And I loved the fact that it was in Manitoba, because I suspect if it was right those days in the 80s and 90s where we were all clubbing, if I was in a different province or a different city, it would be different, right? We would be partying a little bit different because it was the people that I loved, right? I didn't even have to be a drinker. I'd be hanging out. All my friends would all be pounded and stuff, and I'd be in the kitchen cooking up snacks and cakes, and let's do a roast beef and pork chops. Oh, yeah, right? Everybody's in a drunk stupor, right? And you wake up in the morning and everybody's passed out all over your living room floor. But the guys, they were always good because, I'd wake up and I liked to sleep in late in those days, and I'd wake up and they'd have that place all spotless and they would all be gone. And, right, I didn't have to lift a finger except go in there and just watch TV with a hangover, because on occasion I did. I did drink. Yeah, not a lot though, right? I'm not saying I never got drunk, but it wasn't like my friends. It just wasn't my thing. I was a compulsive gambler. To me, drinking would be a waste of money, right? Because that would be money I could put into a video lottery terminal. That's the way I thought. And then somebody who drinks would say, "Oh, I'm not playing video lottery terminals because that's the money that I could buy a bottle with or buy a few more drinks with." Right? So each one of us had our ways of coping, right? And the thing about it that was so amazing is that we all accepted each other for their faults and their beautiful pieces, because every single one of them had beautiful pieces about them. But some of them had some pretty poopy things about them too. And you had to decide for yourself, can you take a little bit of that to be able to get all of that, right? Right? And each one of us got to make those decisions. Grateful. I made some tough decisions, right? But at the same time, I never regret any of my friends. Like, I don't regret any of them. I don't regret any of the guys that I was in love with. I don't regret getting married or who I married. I don't regret not seeing and moving away from past friends, because I know if I bumped into them, we would just start up in conversation. We might not be hanging out together because obviously, once you move away from each other, you start going down different branches. And once you get too far away from that person that you used to be, that you actually related with that person, sometimes you're not able to get back into those relationships, right? So, yeah, I was just thinking I committed to too many things over the Christmas holidays, but it is important for me to be social, right? And I am grateful that I am welcome to people's homes and people's lives, right? And this isn't even family. These are people that I have met in my travels along the way, people I've made friends with, right? 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 It does take time. It does. And when we do it online, it does take time, right? But we've been with each other for so long now. Like each one of you, I feel like I know personally. And if anything should happen to any of you, I would know instantly. My spidey senses would go off and we would be on it, right? And you guys always respond, because there have been a couple of times when I was kind of concerned about your guys, so I would come in, right, just to send you a short email just to make sure that everything is good. Especially, right, we know that we all have moments that we go through, times that will truly stall us out and not want us to participate sometimes, even in any kind of existence, right? Lots of people, when they fall into those times in their life, they can't, it's bare hardly to even get out of bed, right? And even though I never ever considered myself somebody who suffered with depression or had a seriously negative outlook on things, only because I always accepted the state in which I was in or who I was. Like I just kind of accepted things as they were. And if they were anything better, that was just gravy and sprinkles, right? And if anything got worse, well, then I could look at that and then I could deduce for myself whether that was my fault or somebody else's fault, right? Or somebody else was to blame. But I would still probably swing in the direction of, right? Just accept that it's all you, Cindy. And now it's just like, what's the point? What's the even point in arguing about it? What's the point in even mentioning it? Because somebody's not going to get it, not going to understand. So the only thing that I do is I just accept it, right? I just accept it. And then I just kind of say, well, okay, fine. Then I'll just be the example, because you can't argue with something that's just kind of screaming truth in right in your face, right? So this is the way that I think sometimes. Okay. Dave says I save some money buying store brand items. Okay, yeah, I read that one. We came down here, come down here. Okay, here we are. William says, as I said, we have a shop right here in New Jersey, Walmart. Also, we have a Dollar General and a Dollar Tree. Okay, so they have Dollar Trees in the States. Do you have Dollaramas down there? Because Dollaramas, I think, are owned. Oh no, that's not Dollarama. That's Value Village. Value Village is owned by Walmart. I can't say for sure, right? I don't like to say this is this and this is this if I'm not 100%. So just take me with a grain of salt that I'm just passing a hunch or something that I heard or something that was told to me along the way, something I read or some video I saw. Who knows? Lots of times that information comes to me and I have no idea where that information comes from me. Sometimes I just wake up and that information is there, and that's a truth too. Mm, good cup of coffee. Tomorrow I'm going to stay in. I'm going to shoot some emails off. I'm going to see how my sister is doing. I've been talking to my other sisters. Tracy just got out of the hospital and stuff. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go to her house. Everybody can meet and do a gift exchange on Christmas Eve at my sister's house. She watches It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. So we'll be out of there by 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve. But we can get together for a couple of hours, and this way my sister Tracy, she doesn't have to leave the house or make any effort or do any stressing or anything, right? So I'll message her tomorrow and let her know what we've decided to do. And if she doesn't like it, well, that's just too bad, right? Majority rules, and we already made that decision, right? She doesn't need to exert herself in any way, right? The last time she came last year, she just drove by, I think, and I just ran downstairs and grabbed my bags and came upstairs. So it wasn't even a visit, right? And then over the COVID, like Christmas has kind of been a little bit wonky, admittedly, over the past few years. But there have been a lot of changes in each one of our lives. And I suspect in your lives too that there have been since all that happened in what 2020, that there's been so much change in each one of our lives that we need to kind of take some time and really feel out, because it's kind of like an opportunity because we've been away from it for so long. I kind of okay with not doing the big Christmas dinner, right? I'm kind of okay with that. If I should get an invite or something for Christmas dinner, maybe I might go, but more than likely, I think, you know, after Christmas Eve, and it's part of the reason why I do the Christmas Eve party, is so that we can just get over that hump of expectation of that social part of us when really would just like to take that time to relax and do the things that we enjoy, but we get all tied up with the family and right, and families get extended, and as time go by, nieces, nephews, grandkids, right, and that family just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you pick your holidays, right? So Christmas kind of went to the wayside, and we haven't picked that up again since. The birthdays, we kind of do get together still. So maybe it's just right, there's four girls, those birthdays come, those are good opportunities to get together. That's every few months, and each one of us can move and live the way that we want to. My sister Tracy, right? That was my call. I'd be stuffing my life with every amazing, wonderful thing. I wouldn't care. I'd spend every single penny, and I would just have the most amazing time with my life. And she could afford to do that. That was me. That's what I would do. But I'm not. I'm not my sister. My sister's not me, and she has to decide for herself how she wants to live her life, what she wants to do with her life, and getting a wake up call and an opportunity even to make some different choices, possibly some better choices. Yeah, I'd be all over that. Sometimes we need to be scared witless, don't we? Right? I was thinking about that even for myself, those, right? I just got over gotten sick, and for the first few days I was eating really really lightly, and then I stocked up my freezer with all kinds of meats and vegetables and stuff for making soups and stuff, and I was going to eat healthy. And the next thing you know, I'm back to not good stuff, right? Trying to think what was not good, but right, I said I was going to cut back on the pop, right? I'm drinking the pop again. Um, I made bread. I had crackers. I had I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but it feels like I'm not eating properly and as determined as I was right after I was sick. And right, I was kind of scared witless. I didn't know what was going on. I was super sick for a couple of days there, and then it was just all back to normal. And once it was all back to normal, well, then I just went back to my old ways, right? It only took a couple of days, and I was back at it. It's kind of like, when you get yourself in those sticky situations. I remember that when I was a teenager, young kid, and I go, oh, please God, oh, get me out of this. Don't let me get in trouble. And oh, right. And then you get out of that situation and it resolved itself. And meanwhile, you're praying, I'll pray every day and I'll spread the word. And we never ever kept our promises. As soon as we got out of that little squirried situation, right? We never gave it a thought. And I don't know if somebody was tallying it up and keeping tabs on that, but if they were, I have a lot of, excuse me, I have a lot of IOUs to divvy out. I prayed a lot, right? When I was a kid, right? There was a lot of save me, please. I'll do anything. Just help me, help me, help me. I'll pray. Right? Playing Let's Make a Deal with God, right? Dreaming, right? I wasn't even a super religious person. I was in it only because my mother was taking us to church and everything, right? But it wasn't in my choices, but because that's all I knew. What could save me in those situations, right? It was the only thing, God. And I would pray to God, and it wouldn't do me any good, right? I'd still have to go through those experiences, and right. So it's something that I am working on 100%, because 100%. right? That experience is there. But what that experience is, what it is, who it is, I have no I have no idea, right? And I'm not pushing it, and I'm not jumping to conclusions, and I'm not listening to perspectives that don't resonate in any way. Okay. Here in Bloomington, we have a Kroger's grocery store. The Marsh stores went out of business. We do have a few small independent groceries. Uh, Nice seeing you, Richard. As I said, we have a shop right here in New Jersey, Walmart. Also, we have a Dollar General and a dollar store, Dollar Tree. Um, William says, Dave says, William, I went into a shop right, about 20 years ago in Woodbury Heights. Uh, Beautiful area. Owen says, no Walmart here, William. There's a Dollar Tree and a Dollar General. No Walmarts? In the Bronx, there's no Walmarts? Huh. New Jersey. Okay. Kroger. What kind of a store is Kroger? Uh William. Is that like a Safeway or something? Like a big grocery store? Father Lopez here, you guys. Oh my goodness. Where you guys see? Oh, there you are. Oh my goodness. Father Lopez. Hello, dear. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. There is no more Pathmark. There was another food store. They went out. Uh, Dave says, I believe the only American stores which were in Canada were P and a Safeway. I haven't stepped foot in a Walmart since they went to self checkout up here. Oh, really, Dave? I boycotted Tim Hortons coffee for a year. I only lasted a year. I really missed the coffee. But I did, right? Yeah, it was too many times that they got my coffee order wrong and they wouldn't rectify the situation ever, right? And I sometimes I'd even be late for work, stopping to get a cup of coffee just to go back and have the coffee remade properly. And it just got to be too much. And I remember just saying, that's it, right? I'm done. And then I lasted a year and then I was right back to Tim Hortons. Yeah. I like the Tim Hortons. When I go on my trips, I'm right. Any opportunity that I have to stop off and go through the drive through and get a fresh cup of coffee, I really do enjoy it. But cutting back, I have managed to cut back quite a bit on the cup of coffee. I think I'm managing on a weekday, one in the morning and one at work, and then on my days off and when I do my live shows, I make a cup of coffee. But sometimes I don't even. Right already, this one's at room temperature. I use the thermos mug so they stay hotter more, right, for longer, and but it's already at room temperature, so I never drink them. I get a few sips out of them sometimes. But I like to when my lives, it's right. It's like, come over for tea, come over for coffee. We're having a chit chat, right? I like having my cup of coffee when I do my live shows. And also, you guys, the way that I yap, that quite often I get that right, and I have to water my lips. So I keep kind of fluids floating all over the place here. If I don't want the coffee in the moment, I'll get the grape juice or the pop or whatever I need, right? Okay. A&P stores. What are A&P stores, like Target? Cindy, you are pronouncing Value Village wrong. What? Wrong. It is said in a fancy French accent. Value Village. Aren't you a funny man? I heard somebody else refer to um, VV Boutique or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of AP stores. Did you guys have Woolworth, Zellers, or Kmart in the States? We used to have them here in Canada. We don't have them anymore. They are kind of defunct from now. But once in a while we get packaging and products with the stores. So many stores are gone. Oh, they were all American, those stores? Kmart, Zellers, and Woolworth. Oh, right? Woodward's. Was Woodward's American too? That was a big department store, Woodward's. And then, of course, the Bay is gone now. I think it's almost all online. And then Eaton's and Sears, right? Do you guys still have Sears in the States? Oh, Kriskies. I remember something Kriskies. Oh, so they're totally gone now. Was and that guy, that Woolworth guy, he was one of the richest guys in North America, wasn't he, Andrew? That from that company? Oh, Big Lot stores. I think we're all pretty much leaning everybody to online, aren't we? Right? I know the brand stores are taking over the malls, right? And when I say brand stores, the Nike and the Adidas and the American Eagle and all the big name brands. They're on in the malls now. So most things are going to be ordered online. Like, it's going to be hard though, right? Most stores, they already took out the dressing room, so you really can't try on clothes anyway by going to a store. But I don't know how easy it is for refunds and exchanges. I know the few times that I've ordered clothes online that I had a couple of problems that I wasn't, it was such a pain in the butt. It wasn't even my fault, and it just turned to be a real nightmare to get the problem rectified, right? I don't know how I feel about online shopping. I do like to see things and feel things and experience things for myself. I don't buy too much online, but I do buy online. I mean, I bought this laptop online. That was a chance, right? I could have lost it on delivery. I've seen those videos, those news videos where you look at the trains and when they come into the stations and stuff, and the train tracks are just covered in Amazon boxes, right? Because train raiders get onto the trains and they raid the boxes on the Amazon packaging, right? And so the entire rail yards are just covered in open boxes and clothing and stuff that have been taken out of the boxes. I don't know if they've rectified that situation. They had to have, because that would be too expensive to keep a company running, having those kind of losses on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, holding those kind of losses. So many businesses struggling right now just to keep a storefront, right? And here I am. contemplating a storefront myself, right? For my brand. I was thinking of possibly, well, I won't say, but to attach my brand to actual products and an actual business that would, right, utilize my brand for what I was wanting to do with it. It looks different, but in the end, it was a business. It was meant to put a roof over my head, and I was kind of looking at ways of how I could do that. And I think the best way to do it for me would be to set it up to sell, right? And sell it for enough that I can buy that piece of unorganized land for myself to get myself sorted and ready for my own retirement in a life that I would like to live, right? Could I do that? Could I set my brand up that way? I have a couple of ideas of as to how I could do it, and it's possible, but it would be a lot of work. And I don't think it's anything that I could just do by myself, that I would need to have some help, right? At least have somebody that if I told them what I needed, that they could kind of figure out how to get the job done. Like, let's start with an editor. That would be a good one. Okay. Um, come back here a little ways. Um, Dave says the Hudson Bay Company is still a Limerick mall in Hamilton. Oh, okay. Yeah, Hudson Bay Company. I'm not sure if we have any Hudson Bays left in the city. I've heard some people jokingly pronounce Target as Tarze. Tarze. So making fun, making department stores that are actually making their target buyer the low income buyer, right? The more vulnerable in class, right? So they jokingly call these places like Walmart and Target, and they give them these fancy joking names, right? I've seen them use it with the little kids, so teach the little kids that they're not shopping at at um, a low income kind of store, right? We have those stores here in Winnipeg. I don't find them to be any less expensive than any other grocery store. Like, we have a store called Tiger, which is specifically targeting the low income family. Oh my goodness, we have. I think even Walmart to an extent targets the low income family, don't they? You know, if you were well to do or middle class, you see when you go into the grocery store how they partition the sections. Usually, that healthy, expensive food section is sitting right next to the vegetable department, right? And they got it all set up with the expensive creams and vitamins and minerals and right organic this and organic that and refrigerators for protein, right? It's all fancy, but that's the target income that they're shooting for, because that's not low income. That isn't a vulnerable market for these things, because they're so overpriced out of the lower income range. And the lower income range is actually a middle income range now. Even I was just saying on my other show, What's My Good Cheer, this week, that you know we are just not serving the vulnerable. We're just not serving low income. We are serving middle class. We're not even just serving middle class, even the higher class too, because a lot of people are putting a roof over their head. We call them resellers, right? They come in and they get deals on things in the store, and then they list them on marketplace or right on eBay or something, and they turn it into a business for themselves, right? And I would have to say it used to be one out of three customers was a reseller, But now it's so flooded. I think a lot of those resellers have kind of backed off and have figured out that not everybody can be a reseller, right? You have to have a little bit of talent in that. You have to be determined. You have to be there when the store opens up. You need to know your product. You need to know what you're looking for, and you need to prepare to make your customer happy too, right? And they get all exuberant and right, just like me, thinking that I'm going to start my own little business and get my brand ready and to set up for sale, and they find that it's not the case. I might even find that that's not the case, but it's in our choices, right? It's a matter of, are you going to give up, or are you going to find a way? Are you just going to do baby steps? Are you just going to be a slug about it and just, as long as you're moving, it's okay, right? It's when you just stop and you just give up, right? And that's how something I had to come in terms for myself in the past couple of weeks, because I made the decision that I needed to take some flake time. Flake time meaning time away from being presenting myself online with my brand. That I need time to enjoy for myself. I need time to relax, right? Like Saturdays, I specifically took Saturdays completely off of being online because it's my busiest day of the week. I am pooped. I'm giving her, right, on Saturdays, and I try to show up, right? I come home from work and I flake out for a little bit. I find I'm dozing in the chair, and then I wake up and I'm okay, time for bed today. Oh, you're not going to bed yet. You still have a live show to do. And I okay. And then I come in and I do my live show, and I always get it done, and it's always genuinely, right? And I'm always happy to be here, but I am exhausted, and I recognize that, I need that time just to not be online, and it feels good. But again, it took some while to get used to that one day off Saturdays, to take that day completely for myself, right off, take it right off the table. Saturdays is fine. I have to work, I still have to work, but I'm not coming in here after a hard day's work with a voice all harsh because I've been making announce sorry, that I've been making announcements on sale items and stuff all during my shift, right? That I'm not all pooped because I'm covering somebody that's decided to take a day off, or somebody who's decided that they don't want to pull their rate, or they just want to walk around with a clipboard, right? Like, we're here to work. We're here to get things done, and if you don't want to do that, I have to do it because we're here to work. We're here to get it done, and if you don't want to participate in that, then I have to pick up that slack. And when I pick up that slack, sometimes I am not happy with having to pick up that slack. And also, I am totally exhausted, right? And then I come in, and then I know that I have a live to do, and I bring that to my live. So, Saturday was a perfect day for me to keep the slate clean and free so that I can um, um, enjoy not having the pressure of, what are you going to talk about, Cindy? Because I do it every time I go live. I do that, right? And I never come up with an answer. Nothing, right? The last second sometimes, right? But for the most part, I hit that live button and I'm on, and I fly with whatever, right? I'd like to be more prepared in that, but I think my preparedness is just in that understanding, right? That knowledge, not necessarily in presenting it in a formal black and white tie, right? To the book, perfect grammar, perfect insight, right? University level. That's not me, right? But a lot of the audience that I want to target, a lot of the audience that I think that I can serve, talk just like me. understand, just like me, right? Right? That possibly they could have gotten a little bit further than they actually did. But in making baby steps and just showing up, right? Just in making little bits of movement that we're getting the job done. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. Okay. Yeah, William says he remembers all of those stores. Very rich. His granddaughter was Barbara Hutton, the famous heiress who was married many times and died nearly broke. Really? Was she a philanthropist? Do you know if the Huttons were philanthropists in any way? Did they give back to be that rich and to give back to society or to give back to organizations that might have helped them when they were right on their way to greatness? Yeah, that's interesting. I'd be interested in knowing. Andrew's so smart. I like documentaries too, but he's so good. He remembers names and dates and stuff. I don't, right? I remember the stories. I can remember a punchline. I can remember a point. But yeah, I'm not great with the numbers, right? The dates, the names. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, David. It's funny though, sometimes I sit here and I go into contemplation sometimes and I think of how the world could be a little bit better, right? How we could make it a little bit better. And then what happens is I go in just to watch anything, just see what's the world going on in the world. And I'll go into YouTube. And the next thing you know, like content on those exact same topics as I was just thinking about, right? And how I wanted to make things better. And then I get introduced to other thought leaders who are working on those exact problems in the moment. I find it super interesting in the coincidences and in the timings, right? Because especially if I don't have my phone on me to have some of these topics that I think about, not even voice loudly or anything. Sometimes I do in a conversation, but my phone, there is no electrical device or digital device around me. And yet I'll come home from work and I'll sit in my chair and I'll turn my computer on and all kinds of stuff will come onto the screen on topics and conversations and little situations I had gotten myself into at work or whatever I was doing, the adventure that I was in the moment. I find it quite curious when that happens. Those serendipities in that. So when you say that sometimes that you believe because God always answers you, for me, I think this is right. These are the answers because in my mind, I'm asking these questions. I'm wondering, I'm being contemplative, but I'm not voicing them. And so I'm kind of shook. I'm kind of surprised when those answers, right, they just get revealed to me that way. But yeah, I don't get exactly the words yes or no, but I get directions. I get finger pointings as to look into this or listen to this man, this content creator, this thought leader, or here's a video right on this topic. Watch this one. Maybe this one will be helpful to you, right? But yeah, I always find it curious how well this world knows me and my next move. And my next move, because that right, because it's already there, the solution, the answer, the video, the news broadcast, the headline, right? Whatever it is, it's presented to me in that time of need. I'm not big on the news, right? But those important things, there is no real delay in it, right? It is served to me when it's needed in the moment. And it seems to me in this moment everything seems to be okay in this moment. I could be going wrong, right? Maybe there's hurricanes and typhoons and floods and stuff going on, but I'm not hearing any of it. I'm not being drawn to any news broadcasts or anything as far as I know. It's just a well, today it actually rained today. It's not going to be pretty in the morning. The roads are going to be very, very dangerous, very slippery because we've got about a foot and a half of snow on the ground already. But it went from like minus 30 Celsius to like minus 2 Celsius, like almost overnight. And yeah, it's not raining right now, but when I closed and locked up the store tonight, and I looked up at the sky and it was raining on my glasses. And I went, oh my goodness, it's raining. And then everybody's saying, walk carefully, Cindy. Don't slip, Cindy. Yeah, nobody wants to see me get hurt, right? Yeah, I'm the workhorse around there. I just rah, 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 rah. But it looked beautiful. I'm proud of what we got done. Could we have gotten more done? Possibly, right? But we could have gotten a lot less done. And I think, uh, my manager will be pleased with what she has to start with tomorrow, that she'll be able to start her day pretty decently tomorrow. So that makes me feel good too, because I do take pride in my work, and even if I don't get a vocal credit for that, I know, right? I know. And sometimes somebody not holding you up in that or not giving you that verbal recognition, right? Of that accomplishment, that's just a signal in itself, right? Like, oh my goodness, you were so good. They're not even going to give you an inch of credit for that one. So just smile at it, be proud of yourself. And that's right. I am proud of the job that I did this week. And I'm proud of the job that everybody did, right? We didn't really work shorthanded because the no, we didn't work shorthanded in any manner. It didn't make any dent for better or for worse in any way, right? Might have even been a little bit better because, right, I called all the shots, right? And good or bad. There's some complaints tomorrow. I'll be dealing with that on Thursday. But I think for the most part, I think everybody's pretty good with my customer service. Is one thing that I'm I'm pretty sharp, right? Because I do recognize what the customer needs. I do recognize what the customer is feeling in the moment, and I do recognize what it would take to make them feel a little bit differently when they leave, right? So I'm always working to achieve that. Okay, let's come down here. Um, okay, I'm not sure if you know. Had to put my four oscillaty dawn in April. I don't know what that is. Oh, down. Sheltie. Oh, a Sheltie. Your 4-year-old Sheltie. Ah. Have a good night, Dave. Have a good night. Aw. Well, you know what? I'm glad he got another Sheltie. It's funny though, get right? My sister, if she were to get another dog, she'd get another pug. Guaranteed she would get another pug, right? So when she had the same dog, I guess it becomes your dream dog. For myself, if I were to get a dog, I'd want a bloodhound. We don't have anybody who breeds bloodhounds in Canada. I don't think I would have to. I know there's somebody in Utah who who breeds bloodhounds, and then in the south you can get bloodhounds. But here in Winnipeg, I've never seen a live bloodhound. I've never, right? You don't see anybody walking down the street with a bloodhound on the end of a leash. And it's not why I want a bloodhound. I love the ears on the bloodhound. I love that they're short hair and they don't shed. And I love that they're so affectionate and guardian over, right? The only thing that I'm not a big fan of is the size of a bloodhound. Bloodhounds are pretty large dogs. I mean, they're larger dogs, but the bloodhound is a pretty large dog. But if I were to get a dog, I would consider a bloodhound. That would be the dog. Or a greyhound, maybe. I like the greyhound dogs too, but I think I like the bloodhounds more than I like the greyhounds. Okay. Andrew says, I agree, Brother David. I've heard that God answers prayer three ways: yes, no, and wait. Oh my goodness. Um, Coming back here. Lost track of where I was, you guys. Give me a second. Oh my goodness, I lost track of where it was. Okay, well, let's just start here. Andrew says, speaking of coffee, Cindy, I'd like to go find a good old fashioned thermos like you find in a lunchbox. I don't see those. Really? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I haven't shipped your box to you, Andrew. Let me see if I can get my hands on an old fashioned thermos to throw in that box for you. They do come in on occasion, the old thermos with the plaid on them, with the plastic cup. Is that the one you're talking about? Because we do get those on occasion, Andrew. So I'll keep my eye open for an old thermos. But there might even be one in the store. So I'll make sure that I grab it if there is one. And if there isn't one, it'll only take a week or two before one shows up. And I won't be sending those packages until into the new year, you guys. So um William says the music and record stores, that's so music is gone also. Yeah, you're right there too, aren't you, William? I was just thinking that because I do like watching like American Idol and The Voice. I just like to watch the singers perform, and they perform a lot of the old songs and stuff. And I'm going, oh my goodness, like this music was it, like funk, like these kids, right? Funk, Funk, right? Funk music. It wasn't here for very long, but I absolutely just loved funk. And then when funk left, well, disco music came in. And then I loved disco. After disco, I think I didn't really get into music until right then the heartbreaks start. When the heartbreaks start, I always jumped into the country music because right, it's the sad music. It's the music you can sit in and revel in your sadness. Right, that's what I did. I was country music, but after that, I was never right. I'm not a big fan, even though I do love The Voice and American Eagle. I don't know songs. Every once in a while, I could jump in on a chorus. Some of those kiddie songs that my dad used to sing. What do you call those? Childhood, not hymns. Can't remember. Lullabies, right? Right? Like how much is that doggy in the window and right, songs like this. Like, these were songs I could learn and still remember the words to, right? But And I think a lot of it was because the heavy metal, that time when I really could have delved into music quite a bit, heavy metal came in, and I wasn't a heavy metal fan. Why punk rock I liked a little bit only because they helped me to learn to express my differentness. So I was able to, right, put the safety pins in my ears and color my bangs, and at 18 years old, the late 70s, early 80s. And I liked that they relatable in being able to be yourself and to be different. That's what I liked about it. But the music itself, no, I didn't like metal music. I didn't like punk rock music. Right, I didn't have any favorites in the industry. The reason I knew the music in any manner at all is because I liked the boys that liked the punk rock, that liked the heavy metal. I liked the boys. And being highly sensitive and being empathic, right? Of course. I'm going to like what they like, right? And that's what I did. Okay, let's come down into the comments. Oh, Radio Shack. Yeah, Radio Shack is gone now too. I really liked Radio Shack. Andrew says, I think our phones are made to monitor what we say and to bring up ads and such on our phones and computers. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the bots, we give the rights in using these platforms. We give them permission, right, to send the bots in. So yeah, I don't doubt in any way that you are right in a fashion, but it also makes me very curious that how I can have these conversations and have these thoughts and not have anybody around me, not have any digital device or anything around me, and yet somehow YouTube knows, right? So I find it interesting that way, you guys. I pulled out a meatloaf for dinner. It is 9 o'clock, so I'm going to be eating dinner late tonight. I'm going to throw the meatloaf in the oven now and make me a meatloaf, have a nice dinner, take in some lessons, and maybe I'll shoot off some of those emails and stuff tonight to find out what this week, to get some of those Christmas arrangements and Christmas scheduling done so I can get some visiting and some holiday company over the holidays. And I don't need to finish up wrapping or buying or shopping, or that's all done. Everything's all wrapped. Everything's all ready to go. I can't believe I got all that done when I was sicker than a dog, right? It's funny how things work out. Okay, you guys. Father Lopez, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for praying. Thank you for praying for us. It's really sweet that you remember us in your prayers that way. Uh, at our local mall, we had LS Ayers department store that was replaced by Macy's, and then Macy's closed. Oh, there's no Macy's. Wow. Patsy Cline, yes, I do like the Patsy Cline. I do have to say I like the Patsy Cline. I don't mind the country music. It's just too sad. Sad people should not listen to country music. And if you have a tendency to swing that way, even a tendency, it could draw you in and put yourself in a depressive state. I think I got trapped in my separation, in my divorce, a little bit too long because I was attached to that sad music, right? I kind of reveled in it. I kind of rolled around in it. I felt it was a part of my life. I accepted it as a part of my life. Okay, you guys, have a great night. I will be in tomorrow sometime for What's My Good Cheer. We'll pull a card. I'm working on my cards. I got them all written out already, but I still have to put the insights on them. So I'll be working on that tomorrow, shooting up some messaging, looking at some content, and starting to put that premiere together for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I'll let you know on Christmas Eve. If you guys, I'm inviting everybody Christmas Eve, 7 p.m. Central on Christmas Eve. We're going to open up my Christmas stocking. I'm going to make a couple of cocktails for myself, right? And you guys, I'm going to wear my pajamas. You guys wear your pajamas, have your favorite cocktails, and be ready to party with me on Christmas Eve if you'd like to show up. And if you're busy that night, understood. Nancy has opened up her apartment to the entire apartment building that she lives in. She put a Christmas train set layout together, and the whole building will be celebrating Christmas with Nancy. I think that's so amazing. Yeah, she's pretty creative in her adventures. Okay, you guys, have a great night. See you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you next Sunday.